I'm going to start with Gujarat because my story will start with Gujarat. And the coastline of Gujarat during Harappan times would have been quite different even from now. People think that sea levels rise in a sort of linear way and then fall in a linear way. That's actually not how it works. Within those big falls and rises, there are lots of variation. So during Harappan times, sea levels were in fact a little bit higher than they are right now. And the Saurashtra Peninsula was, in fact, an island. And you could actually go from the, the Gulf of Khambat through past Saurashtra into what was the Run of Kutch, because the Run of Kutch was actually navigable. And in fact, not only was it navigable, it had two major rivers flowing into it. There was the Indus, which originally used to flow, in fact, till the 19th century, used to flow into the Run of Kutch. And of course, there was this massive river, the Saraswati, which also flowed into this. And satellite photographs clearly show that these two rivers flowed into it. Even today, you can, with a little bit of messing around, you can tell that there are these two old channels going into it. And of course, climate was also quite different. It was significantly wetter than it is now. So what is now Balochistan was savanna type area. Much of early human migrations actually happened through Balochistan. This is important to remember because today it's such impassable desert that we tend to think of that, you know, people couldn't simply be going back and forth. That if you wanted in pre-modern times to go from Iran to India, you would actually have to go through Afghanistan. That is in fact not the case through much of history. So anyway, so you had this coastline, and in that coastline, cities began to spring up around in the 4th and then 3rd millennium BC, where they really begin to sprout out. And the largest of this that we have so far discovered is a city called Dholavira. Now, Dholavira is today well inland in the Run of Kutch. As I mentioned, the Run of Kutch is now a salt plain, which occasionally has, it's marshy in the monsoons, but otherwise salt plain. And Dholavira is sort of like a hillock in the marooned in the middle of this salt plain. But in Harappan times, it would have been an island, and it developed then into a major port. But there were other ports as well. And one of the other ports was Lothal, which I'm sure all of you from your history books will remember. It had this dry docks and so on. But the map of Gujarat that I just laid in front of you suggests that in fact it should have been possible to go from Lothal to Dholavira by boat. And similarly, there was on the other side, on the northern side, an entry from what is now Dwarka, where there was there's still an island there called Bet Dwarka, where also a lot of Harappan artifacts have been found. So obviously we are guessing, but it seems like basically what was going on, that there was this network of ports in Gujarat where they were sailing back and forth out of it. Those coming from the south would probably have gone through Lothal, which was possibly a customs post before you reached Dholavira. And there was probably another customs post for those people who were coming in from the west at Bet Dwarka. And then they made their way to Dholavira, probably did some trading. And then perhaps some of these chaps made their way up north through the Indus, and while the Saraswati was flowing, up the Saraswati as well.